Welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast.
If you don't make mistakes, you won't learn.
With your host, Corey Winfield.
You know how fish is bad if you can't put it on pizza?
With special guest, Mitchell O'Brien.
I really hate to do this to you guys, but I really have to go to the bathroom really bad. I just can't hold it anymore.
Got your ass.
Yes, I did. It is the 21st of March, 2025. My name's Corey Winfield, and Mitchell is not here,
Obviously.
and neither is Corey Smoker,
Obviously.
but Adam Newth is here. Adam, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Corey. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, I'm so glad you came in today. You're going to be one of the speakers next week, or actually this coming Thursday, I guess you can say now.
Yes.
For Recovery Stories, Message of Hope Part 5. And you're going to be telling a little message of hope. Actually, you're going to be telling a story. My bad.
I was going to say, whatever you need, I will do.
Nice. Yeah, and you've been on the podcast before. I think this will be your third time or fourth?
Third or fourth.
Something like that. I remember
somewhere in there. Yeah.
You did one from the mobile unit back in the day, and then you were doing some stuff across the street, and I think you popped over and did a podcast. So it's been a minute, but things have changed since you've been on, just from your personal life.
They have, yeah.
You're now transitioning into a married life.
I am. Thank you very much.
Some people thought I was going to say another transition, but but no, man. So how's it going? You're engaged. How'd that happen?
Very carefully.
A lot of duct tape.
Lot of duct tape. Holding their hostage. No,
blackmail pictures, and
that's exactly it. No, it's a gift of recovery.
Yeah,
is what it is. God, my higher power brought Emmy into my life, in recovery, in a job, through recovery, and everything lined up the way it was supposed to. And I'm really blessed to say that we're scheduled to get married in October 26th.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you just got to be good until then.
Just have to be really good until then. That's exactly right.
No, that's really cool, man. It's good to see people, like I said earlier, in recovery kind of get, and I don't want to say get that life back, because it's more than getting that life back. You're getting life almost for the first time, and, getting to experience everything in such a clear mind and making decisions based on stuff that you actually really want in life. And
that's exactly right. I didn't know really what a healthy relationship looked like until I was in recovery, and like I said, the powers to be brought Emmy into my life, who's a amazing woman that I probably don't deserve, that is,
say that.
Well, that's how I feel sometimes. I'm very, very blessed to have her. And, I've just been able to, like you said, experience things for the first time in recovery. I've had a lot of firsts with her. And then this is, I've never been married before either. And I get to experience this all, with this is a blank slate. So this is all uncharted territory for me. And it's super exciting, and it's all a result of staying engaged in my recovery.
It's awesome, and you're gonna cry. I'm tearing up just thinking about it, because I think you're kind of like me, where you're very emotional, and being that day that you've never been married, I was never married until obviously I got married with Marnie, but I kind of thought I was just going to die alone. Here I am in front of this woman who's just beautiful. I never thought this day was even going to happen. And then, I start to say my vows, and then I start, choking up and tearing up, dude. It was horrible. And it was kind of funny because the first year, our first anniversary, I went through and I transcribed my vows to her, and I did it on a Cricut, so it made them in gold or whatever, but I put all the tearing up, choking up, I put all those little things in there, because if you watch the video, that's what it is. It's me stumbling through because I'm about to cry. It was bad, but there's so many emotions going through at least there were for me, going through my brain and my mind and my soul. Like I didn't know how to express it except for crying, like it was happy tears, but.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And actually, Emmy has never seen me cry.
Uh-oh.
In our, 3+ years together. So she's been asking me, like, do you think you're gonna cry during this? Do you think you'll see me walk in and start crying? I have a feeling that if there's any time she's going to see me cry, that would be it.
I think you'll be able to hold it together when you see her, because you're just going to be like, okay, wow, gorgeous, beautiful. This is the most perfect day ever. But it's easy to hold together until you have to talk. I think that's when you'll start talking and you'll be like, and then you'll realize, oh shit, this is really happening. Like Corey's right. Like I'm going to cry now, and there's nothing wrong with it, man. Like I said, they're good tears.
That's right.
And it's just we get so overwhelmed. I tell people this all the time in early recovery, man. Like you're going to cry those happy tears. And I remember telling Kim that, and I think you're familiar with Kim. And
I am.
She was like, what? And I was like, oh, no, it'll hit you. Like you'll be talking about something and it'll be one of the best things that's ever happened in your life. And you're just going to start bawling and you're not going to know why. And you're going to be like, this is weird. I was like, but those are happy tears. And she came back in, I don't know, it was a few months ago, I think, when she got to her place. And she was like, oh my God. And she started like doing like fanning her face, and she's like, I just can't stop crying. It's so good. And I told her, I was like, it's those happy tears, and she's like, I know. She's like, I just don't know how to feel. I was like, I know. I think maybe because we mask it for so long, we mask all of our emotions, that here we are hit with this good stuff. And then it's like, what do we do?
Exactly. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. And we cry, and
which is great.
Yeah, it's better than drinking or using again.
Amen to that.
I'll take a tear any day.
Yes, sir.
But it's funny when it does catch people for that first time, because it does shock them, because you're like, why am I crying right now? And I don't know. It's so good.
The best reason to be crying.
Yeah. So we haven't really went over the story that you're going to tell or what you're going to talk about, but do you have anything in mind? And you don't have to go through it right now, but is there like a moment in time that stuck out to you? Maybe it's this marriage trip you're on, or was it something back earlier that you're going to talk about?
I had no idea what I signed up for when I did agree to do this.
Obviously.
I didn't know what you wanted me to talk about. I know you had briefly said like, oh, you can look over the other recovery stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of going into this blind. So that way I didn't put too much thought into it. I didn't want to overanalyze and make cue cards and then forget my place and, swear in front of families or whatever it may be. I just kind of wanted to, talk to you about it to see like what kind of things other people had talked about. So that way I could just pick something from my recovery journey. Because as long as I'm doing that and sharing a part of my story and sharing from the heart, like, it's going to be good. Yeah. It'll resonate with someone. If it resonates with one person in there,
shoot,
that's all I'm looking to do. Yeah. But recovery has never said no to me since I've been in it. So when you asked me to do this, I didn't even know what it was, but I was like, I'm in.
Yeah. At first I was like, wait, what? Because you're like, what day of the week is the 27th? I'm like, does your phone not have a calendar? I was like, Adam doesn't want to do it. I was like, Adam's not going to do it. I was like, I can just tell Adam's not going to do it. And then asked another person. I'm like, that person will probably do it. But I was like, Adam, he was just like, what day of the week is that? Like, I was like, he doesn't want to do it. I was like, and I was like, has he been to one? I was like, I don't even know if he knows what it is. And then it was weird because the other person was like, nah, I can't do it. And you were like, absolutely, buddy, I'm in. And I'm like, okay, well, that turned exactly opposite how I thought it was going to, but it happened exactly how I think it was supposed to. We ended up having Nancy Dow because Nancy had said something to me at the last one. She's like, it would be nice, Corey, if we got some families up there. And I started thinking about that. And I was like, we probably should. And then when the other person said no, I was like, let's just keep Adam. He can be the one telling the story. We don't need like 4 storytellers. Like we really don't, but let's bring the families in. And that way, we'll bring the families on and then we'll have Adam do it. And then we're going to have a surprise musical guest.
Oh, nice.
Yes. It's not Eminem. But the gentleman came to me and was like, hey, I like to rap and here's a little something. and he started just spitting these verses, and they were about recovery, and it reminded me of NF almost.
Okay.
And I was like, dude, this was really cool. And you just did it off the top of your head. He's like, no, I wrote that. I was like, oh, so you got this memorized already? You know, like, yeah. And the other guy was like, oh, I got this beat for him, and he, like, absolutely. So after you, then we're gonna have him get up there and do his thing, and then, you know, do a little intermission, very quick intermission, and, you know, raffle some things maybe, or I don't know what Marnie has planned for that. But then, you know, Jay Burton and Paul Bach are going to come on, and both of them have been around this area for a few years. Especially Jay's been around for a while. I mean, Paul has too, but what they do is very key,
very much so,
to what's happening in the area. So I think it's cool that the lineup is set. The family part is just huge, I think, and especially because there's different stages of recovery that come here. There, you got your early recovery, you got long-term recovery, you got family people showing up too. And to know that there's families out there that are struggling. I talked to two people today. They're going to tell the family story, and they were talking about how they're still not talking to their child at this moment. And I'm like, wow, like that's being vulnerable, you know, to get up there. And I think that's a problem when people are trying to keep it in the basement, like, oh, nothing to see here. There's no problems. No, Johnny's fine. When we talk about it, and we say Johnny's not fine, you know, and Johnny has mental health problems, you know, and that's fine. But how do we get him the help that we need? You know, like, go through that story. It's not all sunshine and rainbows for us. It's not for family members either.
Definitely not.
And to show those people that are in early recovery, like, what you're doing does impact your family. You know, it took me a year to wrap it around my brain. I was a year clean until it finally hit me when my mom was like, well, how do you think I feel? You know, when we go to the store, you know, you're talking about you're going to the store in Northern Michigan. No one knows who you are. That's great. What about me? What about your sister? When we would go to the store, you know, now it's different. Now my mom walks around and want people to talk to her. But back in the day, when people would come up, how's Corey? That's not a question she'd like to answer. Well, he's in treatment again. Well, he's not doing good. I haven't talked to him in a year. You know, like it was never usually a good answer that she had to give. And I never knew that it even affected her or my sister, you know? So it's like, oh, if we can open some of these eyes a little earlier, maybe that'll help. You know, does that mean they're never going to go to treatment again? They're going to get out and be, no, it doesn't mean that. But at least they can be thinking about their actions and how it really does affect other people, not just them. You know,
no, that's really important, Corey, that you guys are featuring families like this. You know, I have the privilege of working with Nancy. Her office is one over from mine. I've been helping out with her Family Road to Recovery, like 8-week course that she's been doing too.
Yeah, it's a great course.
And thinking about how our actions have impacted our families, like it's not a pleasant thing to have to think about. And it's stuff that the earlier in recovery, or even if you're before you're in recovery, like if you really hear like family members talking about this and you take it to heart, like it could be that extra seed that's planted to get change started, you know, in your life. Or, you know, after you're in recovery and you hear like, oh man, like I never considered how my actions impacted my family, because when we're in the grip of addiction, like it's a selfish disease. Yeah. You know, and to get outside of ourselves and start thinking about others, like that's part of the whole recovery process, is like not just thinking about yourself. And I think this is going to be a powerful way to do it. You know, and it's something that I didn't want to think about for the longest time, how my actions impacted my family, you know, and we were just doing a group the other day for Nancy's program about building or rebuilding healthy relationships. We were talking about how once we're in recovery, our relationship with our family has to look completely different now. Yeah. Because when we were in the grips of active addiction, like we didn't have a healthy relationship with our family members.
Nope.
If you had a relationship at all.
Yeah.
So it's like reestablishing a relationship, but it's going to look completely different now being in recovery. Like if you respect yourself, you respect others, like getting your, you know, this was about the family members, like getting to a point of loving themselves and taking care of themselves enough to set up a new healthy relationship too. And like the sooner people can hear about that from the family, the better.
I think so. And the dynamic that changes that you were just talking about between this is a relationship I had with a family before. Like, yeah, you didn't really have one. And then you come to this weird point of like, well, where do I fit into it all? And then you kind of move forward with it how you kind of want it to go, I guess. But then, well, okay, here's what I'm trying to say is I talked to a guy yesterday and he was telling me about his father and his relationship with his father, that he realized he had to take a step back.
Okay.
That he can't really have a relationship with his father right now because for him, it's a very fragile state that he's in.
Yep.
And the dad is more stern and this is how it's going to be, son, do it this way. and that doesn't really work, and it's just like, well, just don't drink today then, like, does he understand what the kid's going through? And the kid doesn't think so. And the kid wants to kind of take a step back. And I think that's a healthy thing to do instead of forcing yourself into this fake relationship with someone. And like you said, you didn't really have that relationship before, because you were using and stuff like that. I guess that's normal people going through if there's normal people going through addiction.
Normal air quotes.
Yeah, relationships disappear, and you burn down a lot of bridges and stuff like that. So it is one of those things that if you can be cognitive of like, this is happening, what steps do I need to do to protect myself early on? And that's not saying protect yourself from this damage that you did or the stuff that you created, but sometimes you do need that pocket of your self time, to heal even before you take on any of the I'm sorry's, mom, or I'm sorry, dad. Like, you have to be well grounded to look through that past book of those memories that you don't really remember, and I think that the families will really help the people that are super early in recovery to just kind of put it in the back of their mind. Like, okay, I did some bad things too, and I'll deal with that at the correct time, and the one way you can show people that you're sorry is to change.
That's the biggest way that people in recovery can say sorry without saying it.
Yeah.
We were talking about that in group yesterday too. That family members may be looking for apologies. I don't know about you, but when it came to saying sorry, my parents didn't want to hear that anymore. I said sorry so many times that those words were meaningless when they came out of my mouth. So taking that time to step back, evaluate like what you want your life to look like as a person in recovery, and you start changing for the better, right? We're able to make living amends to our family long before we ever utter the words, I'm sorry, and actually mean it, right? If we're carrying ourselves in a way that they've always wanted us to, or the way that we were brought up to be, and we're not using, that's saying sorry without words in and of itself.
Yep. And that's what the families want. That's what my mom wanted. So my dad wanted. That's what everybody wanted, and I got to that point too, where I realized, and you'll get to this point too, if you're going through it and you're struggling, you will get to this point where you will even feel the sorries don't even mean anything to you as you say them. When, oh, sorry, mom, I'll never drink again. Then I was like, why am I telling her sorry? I'm not, and then I realized at the end too, it's like, then someone might have said it to me, like, family members don't want to hear I'm sorry anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. It's like they want to see it, so show them. Right. Stop walking around telling people how sober you are, how many days you got. Just do it, and that's how you change how people think about you too, is because you become a different person. People can't say, oh, Adam Newth, oh, that old junkie. They can say it, but they're going to look stupid because like, oh, you mean Adam Newth, the guy who was the CADC certified alcohol drug counselor? I think you are one of those.
Will be soon. I'm on the developmental plan, but
nice, but you will.
Pretty close.
So I'm a psychic. but yeah, that's what they can say, by calling you what you used to be, it wouldn't make any sense. It's like, oh, Corey, he's a big drunk. You used to have some problems with alcohol, but I wouldn't say he's a huge drunk today. You know, he hadn't been drinking over 6 years. You know, like they can't say that about me anymore. You know, so that's how you change what people think and say about you is by changing yourself and what you do and what you say and, you know, what you're around. But I'm looking forward to it, man. Recovery Stories, the 27th. For people that can't make it, there'll be videos of it online so you can watch it and check out Adam Newth. But it's going to be a great thing, man. The families, we got a rapper, we got Adam Newth, Jay Burton, Paul Bach. It'll be a good time. Free barbecue.
That's awesome.
Thanks to NMRE.
Thank you, NMRE.
Yeah, they're paying for the event and letting us put it on. So appreciate that. And it's coming out of the PA2 funds, which I think is a good thing for the community to come out and have a free event and learn about recovery, make some connections, network, whatever you want to call it. But it's good and it's usually pretty packed. So
I'm super excited to be doing this. My fiance and my son will be there too.
Nice.
So, you know, I haven't got to do too many speaking engagements with him for him to hear, you know, how impactful recovery has been in changing my life. I mean, he knows because he sees me live it
right
now, like we're talking about. But man, I really appreciate this opportunity, Corey. You've got a great lineup of people. I know every single one of the people that you got speaking, and there's a few of them have had a great impact on me for the better in my recovery and helping me grow as a person. So thanks for putting this all together. And I feel like anybody who comes, you're going to get a lot out of this.
Yeah. And I appreciate you doing it, man. I appreciate you coming by today to do the podcast and talk about it.
I appreciate you getting me out of work for an hour. So
hell yeah. Cool. All right, Adam. Well, thanks for coming by, man. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, you will, at least by Thursday.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Listen to over 900 episodes on the 217 Recovery app that's free in your app store or online at 217recovery.com.